Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Today's webinar will be about creating tips and comic creation in Clip Studio Paint presented by JeyOdin. Before we begin the webinar, there are some housekeeping items that we'd like to go through. The webinar will be approximately 1 hour long. All attendees will be muted. Question and answer session will be during the last 15 minutes of the webinar. Attendees can ask questions in the GoToWebinar question box right away. Due to time constraints, not all questions will be answered. The webinar will be recorded. The recording will be shared on social media and will be sent via email to all registrants and attendees. The panelists for this webinar are Mario Quiñones, myself, Jonah Brower, and Jay. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time or have never heard about Clip Studio Paint, Clip Studio Paint is your all-in-one solution for stunning, ready-to-publish illustrations, comics, manga, and animations. Learn more at clipstudio.net/n and graphicsly.com. We'd like to shout out to Saturday AM and the team of My Footprint. JeyOdin's series Hammer is currently being serialized and published in the world's most diverse manga comics anthology, Saturday AM. Check them out at saturday-am.com. And with that, we'd like to pass the reins of the webinar to Jay and his presentation, Writing Tips and Comic Creation in Clip Studio Paint. Thank you so much.
Yo, what's going on, guys? This is JeyOdin, and I'm super excited to tell you guys about everything here. Give me 1 second so I can show my screen. Give me 1 moment. If you guys can see that. Hey, Mario, do you see my screen? Sorry, everybody.
And we see Clip Studio.
Okay, all right, cool. There you
Okay.
go. So, like I said, my name is JeyOdin. Thank you, everybody, for coming to this Graphicsly webinar. I'm super excited to actually do this today. Let me give you a little bit more about myself before I get into everything. If you guys have ever visited my website, you guys would see this 4-step guide that I have. It's basically some tips to just show you how to create comics. So after this entire presentation, if you guys have any more questions, or if you just want to learn a little bit more, then definitely go check this out. It's free and it's 25 pages. It's it's pretty awesome. This is me. I am the creator of Hammer, like Mario said earlier. Let me zoom in here. This issue has not come out yet. It will be coming out very soon. I believe it's coming out on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. But as you can see, that there are cards coming off in the background, and the reason why those are there is because we actually just got featured inside of this mobile app game, Flick Solitaire. It just came out today, and you guys can download it right now. It is a free addition to this game, and if you download it today, I mean it's so fun. It's so cool. It's just solitaire, and it just shows all of our characters, and it's really cool. Getting a little bit more into Saturday AM and what we are the world's most diverse manga anthology. We have creators from all around the world, from Hungary, New Zealand, Nigeria, just everywhere around the world. I can't even think them all right now, but these are our main lineups. As you can see, my character Stud right here. You guys all know White Manga's Apple Black. He actually had a Graphicsly webinar earlier last year, if I'm not mistaken. And we have just a bunch of different characters. This is Cass. She's the first female Black shonen lead character. We have the first Indian American character. And we also have Saturday PM, which is more of a seinen, more adult version of our magazines. We also have Saturday Brunch, which is like our Josei brand, and we have a more adult. We focus more on like female lead female leads and also LGBTQ leads. It's a very cool, very awesome. You can download it for free and experience everything Saturday right now. It's on iOS, it's also on Android, and it's just a great addition to your comic book loving journey, I guess. And also on top of that, we have a magazine that will be coming out very soon. We'll be giving a lot more information about that soon. But the reason why I have this in my presentation is because Clip Studio Paint helped us make this. If you guys ever get a chance to go to White Manga's YouTube channel, you can see this entire documentary series where all of our artists were able to get Clip Studio Paint, and we were able to draw this massive crossover with all of our characters. This is like kind of like a test page where I was inside of one of White Manga's videos, and I drew this using Clip Studio, and I'd teach you a little bit about like creating speech bubbles and stuff like that. So definitely go check that out if you want. But this was a very cool project, and I'm so happy and very excited to work with Clip Studio Paint, not only on this but also with this Graphics Suite webinar. But I've been using Clip Studio Paint for a very long time. I've used it in a lot of different projects. Another project that I used it in was Lemonade Code. It just came out with Oni Press earlier this year. It was written by Jared Pratt. I was I was the artist on it. But when I drew this, I used Clip Studio Paint. I used all the features like the story features and all of this, and I'll get a little bit more into that as the presentation goes on. But like I said, just to give you a little bit more about myself, that's who I am. I have a lot more stuff online. You can follow me on JeyOdin, but yeah, if you want to learn more. But here we are. Let's do this. These are some comic creation and writing tips. If you guys have seen me on TikTok, then you have seen probably a little bit of the tips that I'm going to be going through today. I'm going to elaborate a lot more, obviously. But if for some reason you can't watch this entire thing and you have to leave or come back or watch the recorded version later, just know that there are a lot more tips that I have about the subject on my TikTok. And it's pretty cool. So definitely go check that out. But one of the first out of the two tips that I really want to give today are I want to talk about creating a pitch and creating a story and everything with that. And the best tip that I can give in regards to that is to create a story from a pitch, not a pitch from a story. So what does that mean? Usually I'm guilty of this as well, but I've created stories in the past where it's like this gigantic epic, and there's so many like plot points, and there's a lot of backstory, and there's just a lot of stuff that you got to explain. And then after you come up with this entire epic, it's finally time to talk to somebody about it. Like you finally get a chance to tell somebody about the story, to sell it to them, so that way they can want to draw it for you, or potentially produce it in a different medium. But you have to be able to tell them what that story is about. And one quick way of doing that is to create a pitch. So when you create a pitch, there are several different ways that you can do that. Like I said, if you look at some of my TikToks, I talked in these 3 videos specifically about how to create a pitch. So one of the things I'm going to be covering today is when you take 2 popular series and you put them together. And I'll go a lot more in depth with that as the presentation goes on. But another one is you take a past event and you add an X factor to it. Another one is where you can take an already established story and just change one thing about it. There's several different ways that you can create a pitch to spark an idea that will allow you to create a story after that. But to get more into what I was saying earlier about taking 2 properties, this is a prime example. Dragon Ball Z meets Pirates. Inside of that video that I have on my TikTok, I say Pirates of the Caribbean. But I mean, and realistically, Aichiro Oda probably was, thinking about a pirate manga, and he also loved Dragon Ball Z. So, putting both of those together creates One Piece. I mean, that's exactly what it is. But what you can do is, do the same thing for yourself. It's plus Astro Boy. That's something that sounds ridiculous, but I mean, that could be an amazing horror, mecha manga. Or think about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air meets Fist of the North Star. Like, I mean, these are, like I said, they're ridiculous, but they're just ideas that you can put together. They're 2 series that, when put together, spark a new idea, and that is what you need to that's what you should do when you are trying to create a story. Whenever you come up with that idea and you sit down and you've come up with that entire pitch, now it's time to actually talk to whoever, and you have those two series in mind now, so you can tell that to them, and then that way they have an idea of what you're trying to tell them the story is about. Whereas if you do it the opposite way and you create a story and now you have to create a pitch, now you have to think to yourself really, really hard, what two properties, what two popular recognizable properties are actually representing my story. And it's very difficult and to go through all of that. It's a headache, and I'm just trying to help you avoid all of that right now. So like I said, this is definitely one of the tips that I've been wanting to give for a very long time. Create a story from a pitch, not a pitch from a story. So hopefully that made more sense. If you guys have any questions, we will have a Q&A later on, so definitely stick around. But the next tip that I want to give is all in regards to drawing, and how you can use sequential art to the fullest to tell your story. This is how you can tell your entire story using pictures alone. And I'm going to give some examples, but I really just need to drive this home. When it comes to comic books, it's not just a medium that you read letters. Obviously letters are a big part, and explaining more of the context of what that page or whatever situation the story is presenting itself. But you should be a good enough artist to be able to express the feeling, the mood, the expressions and everything of the characters, and their clothing usually helps out with their personality traits. The background can help out with the scenery, the toning, and all this other stuff. Like it actually, like, it truly helps out and makes your story a visual thing, not just something that you can read. So these are some examples that I've pulled from Lemonade Code. So as you can see, I start off with an establishing shot, and I'm slowly zooming in, and you see this dog approach this structure right here, and like he jumps up on the seat, and he hits this thing, and now he's wet. So obviously there are some words that are being said inside of this comic, but as just a visual thing, these are the moment to moment sequences that are explaining what the story is. And that's something that as a comic book artist, one of the things that you can do to get better at planning out those things and planning out each panel is thumbnails. I've talked to several different artists that say they don't want to do thumbnails. I think that's ridiculous. Planning out exactly what you want to draw is, like, the best thing that you can do to have the best story like that you can ever make. Maybe that sounded kind of weird saying it like that, but I mean, when you are creating a story that is visually like telling you everything that's happening, I don't have to explain, like this next page, for example. This is when somebody comes up, talks to him, rubs him up, and then says something else, and then we get like this panel of this old lady. So obviously there's a lot of other things that can be said right here, but like he's not really cool with this old lady being right here. So if you take other cues, this old lady is going to be babysitting him, and he's not really okay with that. But from his expressions and from how she's looking at him and all this other stuff, you can get that feeling. So let's look at another page. He's running after her, and like he's trying to tell her something, and like she's she has to leave, so she gives him something, and he's visually very, very sad. Like you can see that this expression is on his face, and like she's trying to help him out, but she's also kind of sad that she has to leave him. So, like, all of this is being told to you. Obviously I'm saying it, but if you were to look at just these pages without me saying anything, I mean, you would be able to tell that she had to leave, and there's some futuristic elements inside this book, so definitely go check it out. But she had to leave, and he said that she had to leave, and he walks back. You see the dog's actually even sad for him. And these are just small details that as a comic book artist you should definitely pay attention to, and they help tell your story, even if you're not being the letterer. Like, so for instance, this book, I didn't letter like anything inside this book. There was actually another letterer. His name was Crank. Amazing. And you know, he had to go off of the cues that I had to be able, you know, obviously also the script as well, but you know, he had to like, you know, look at everything and, you know, see exactly where, you know, where he should put the speech bubbles so that way he doesn't like obstruct, you know, some of the you know, facial expressions. And you know, he did a masterful job, so definitely go check it out. But you know, like I said, like this is just something that you can do as a comic book artist. Visual storytelling, the sequential art of it all, like that's, it is very, very important. Like I said, you know, Lemonade Code, this was a very, very fun book to draw, and I had a blast doing it. It was very, very cool. So definitely go check it out if you want to. But here are some more examples of, you know, another comic that I draw, which is Hammer. As you can see, obviously there's a lot more detail. You know, I do this a lot more recently. This is actually a chapter that came out last month, if I'm not mistaken, chapter 24. And you know, you can see that he's excited. He's running towards this character. You know, he grabs this bag that she was holding, and he says something in conviction, and you know, makes his fist, and like he's really, really happy. And you know, then they just start to talk. But as they're talking, you know, you can see that, like, he's interested in what she's saying. He's starting to think about stuff. You know, now he's sad. And you know, like I said, they're just like, you know, these subtle cues that you can use to, you know, create that connection with that character that you're reading about. Now, there are other things that you can do. Let me go back a little bit up to Lemonade Code. This is actually another trick that I am getting a lot better at. I've been practicing my entire life, and ever since I actually read this book right here. This is Making Comics by Scott Mccloud. I totally recommend this book. You know, he has not paid me at all to tell people this. I think I tweeted at him once and he said thank you, and that was it. No. So for him to only do that and for me to still talk about this book just shows you how amazing this book is. So definitely go check it out. You know, if you want to learn a little bit more about comics. But you know, one of the things that he talks about inside of that book is leading the eye and how you can do that. So you know, I am still getting better at it, but I mean, you know, as you can see, like, you know, there are like everything is kind of like moving towards like this one panel. His feet are moving towards that panel, like, you know, he's jumping that way, but like he's coming from like this area, and it like leads, like you see how his paw is like, you know, he's hitting a button on this panel, but it's facing this way, and it leads to this. And you know, they're just like small things that you can do like that throughout every single page. You know, even when you're a letterer, you can actually you know, have it flow from bubble to bubble. You know, there's several things that you can do. Like I said, when you create a comic and you're trying to make the eye flow for the reader, but you know, being able to lead the eye in that way is it's very difficult, and it takes practice. And like I said, it also takes planning. You know, that's why thumbnails are so important. So definitely keep that in mind. I'm gonna go back to these hammer pages so I can show you how I try to implement you know, the flowing of the eye there. But he's, you know, going towards her. You know, you can see that like she's giving him that. This bag is actually coming out, and like it's facing that way. He's facing that way. You know, now his eyes are looking that way. Like, I mean, you know, it just goes to panel to panel, and you know, it's not it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it's definitely challenging and really fun for any comic book artist that, you know, definitely wants to, you know, create the best work that they can make. So that is another tip that I have for everybody here. You know, I really hope that you guys you know, take this to heart, and you know, everybody out there that really wants to draw comics, you know, just know that, you know, there are several different tutorials out there. You know, we've created several different tutorials. You know, these videos right here, this is an entire video series documenting how to, you know, create bubbles, how to, you know, create panels, you know, how to tone. Like, you know, this is, you know, this is what all of us all of us inside of Saturday AM, like we all use Clip Studio Paint. It's an amazing product, and you know, if you're a comic book artist, this is definitely like what you need to, you know, have. You know, there's so many awesome things about it, and yeah, you know, I really hope that you guys will enjoy um uh, all of those videos. But let me go into this right here, and let me just talk to you guys. If you guys have any questions, you know, definitely you know, post them, and I can go into more detail about anything. And yeah, you know, these are all some of my you know, social medias that you guys can, you know, follow me at. You know, you can see a little bit more tutorials that I have definitely on my TikTok. I've been trying to post more videos, you know, via YouTube. It's just, you know, a lot of different projects I've been working on. But if you guys ever want to reach out to me, then please do so. This is where you can reach me. Definitely also download the Saturday AM app. You can read our mangas for free inside of that app. Every single issue that comes out is free. We also have over 125 plus issues. I mean, my issues coming out and it's 134, but there's several different issues, backlogs. Definitely go check it out. And yeah, there you go. I hope this has helped you, and I really hope that I can answer any of your questions.
Okay, well, we still have a lot of time, so.
Oh, man, yeah. Oh, sorry. Well, like I said, I can talk about everything. Let me go into something else. Unless you have a question that was prompted to us.
We do have a ton of questions already, so we
Oh
can
yeah. Well, let's do it.
go
Yeah.
straight into it. I was wondering, do you wanna just doodle along a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
Like
Yeah.
do some sketching on the side. I'm pretty sure people are very interested to see your progress
I
on just some sketching here and there. So that people can see like how you're doing your characters. Something simple is fine.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna
sure.
draw a stud from my series Hammer.
Yeah.
And while you guys
You're
ask.
so fast already. So. Whoa. Okay. First of all, you talked a lot about the pitch at the beginning. Like, how did you come up with the pitch for your stories?
So when I came up with Hammer, it was a lot of daydreaming involved. I didn't necessarily come up with just the pitch, which is why I'm telling everybody there's a lot of headache involved with that. With that said, I have definitely gotten better as a storyteller, so I've been able to basically create the two series that I would choose for Hammer would be One Piece and what's it called Adventure Time. I think those two really like express everything that Hammer's about,
Yeah, yeah. And then you just kept thinking about it and thinking about it. And was there like an incident that was like, oh, I want to write exactly this story?
So when I first came up with Hammer, I actually was okay. Well, let me back up. For everybody out there that does want to draw comics, just to let you know, it takes a very long time. So I mean, I've had a day job for a while. I'm actually a pharmacy tech, and one of the day jobs that I had a long time ago when I first came up with Hammer was I was working at a customer service booth, and at this particular booth, it was very quiet sometimes, and I had a lot of free time, so I was able to just daydream for a very long time about scenes or powers and all this other stuff. And at some point I had just a combination of ideas that were not streamlined, but they all involved this character. That was the only thing that was I guess in common. So with all those ideas, so I sat down and I was able to create a timeline of how I would want these particular events to occur, and then I would rewrite the series over and over again. I think I've written Hammer maybe 4 or 5 times, at least 4 times, and it finally came out in 2014 with webtoons, or 2015 with webtoons. I was just doing it, and then I realized that webtoons is like a sea of content. I mean, unless you're a whale, no one's really gonna see you inside of that ocean. So, I wanted to switch up and find something that was more my style, and I'm so happy and grateful that I was able to find Saturday AM. That's my dream come true. And ever since then, Hammer's been there, and it's been rocking.
Did you do a lot of research regarding how to structure a manga, how to structure storytelling, how to build characters? How much research did you put into that?
Yeah, so
just go and just everything else was
so I had been drawing actually ever since I was 6 years old. The very first time I started just creating comics was when I was I don't know, maybe actual comics that I would staple together and show my friends. I was maybe in 3rd or maybe 2nd grade or something like that. So I was pretty young, and as I got older, I started reading more and more comics. Not just manga, but also like American comics. I would, look at a lot of cartoons on TV. I would, look at a lot of TV shows. And as I got older, I met somebody, who was like my mentor, and he like showed me so much more about like the comic book industry, and like he was really cool. His name was Rashad. He really helped me out with drawing and like how to structure stuff. So he was kind of like a mentor. My brother also really helped me out as well. He was kind of like a rival for me. We would always draw and like try to one up each other and see which
Nice.
comic could be cool, and like try to impress each other as well. And like I don't know, it was just always something that was near and dear to me. And as I got older, I knew that people did this in real life, but I didn't know how it you could actually like make it happen. And I found out one day that there was a school called SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, and I really wanted to go there, and I applied. I was able to go there. It was an amazing experience, a very expensive experience, but a very amazing experience. I met several different artists from around the world. I've made a lot of really good connections with people, and yeah, it was just really awesome. But throughout that entire time, I had been reading manga and comics and everything else, and just kind of learning from just seeing other people doing it.
Mm.
So I never actually sat down and just bought a book for characterization, or this is how this is how you would just draw like this or just draw that or whatever. But as I've gotten older, I have looked more into writing, just to sharpen up my sword. I don't think I'm the best writer in the universe, but I think I'm definitely a lot better than I was. And that's what it really comes down to. You just got to always want to improve, and
Mm.
strive to get better. So I think that's what the mentality that I had, and it's finally starting to work out, so I'm very happy.
Yeah. And now that you're publishing your comics like professionally on Saturday AM and everything, do you still do everything by yourself, like story, characters,
Yeah,
line
so
art, tones?
yeah, so Hammer, I do that all by myself. I love drawing. Like if that's not obvious already. Like I love drawing so much that like I wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and just like constantly draw. But like the reason
Wow.
why I do that is because I don't have assistants. I don't I have deadlines still, not only just for Hammer, but there are other books and projects that I'm currently trying to work on.
Mm.
And and like I said, having a day job, it's really difficult to try to time manage everything.
Yeah.
So having help definitely helps for sure. But that's I right now do everything by myself. So
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, we have the very typical questions that we usually get. What are your favorite brushes to use for color? Not for coloring, well, for coloring too. I mean, you do your comic covers as well, and backgrounds, and anything particular you like using.
yeah, so when it comes to pins, I usually use the real G pen. I think that the real G pen, I'll show you guys, it has like all these like kind of like pixelated edges, but there's something about it that just makes me really like it. I love this pen right here. It's so smooth, but I rarely use it for like inking, just because I just don't. This tapered pen is pretty cool. I feel like it's a little bit more jaggedy than the uh, this real G pen, but I usually gravitate towards those three. This real G pen though is the one that I use the most. When it comes to coloring, I've been branching out a lot more. I've been using hold on, if you look at the opaque watercolor, like, so this is not usually what I use. Hold on. Where are you? Oh, okay, right here. So this one, okay, let me see if I can change
Yeah, I think the wet blend there, it's just gonna blend.
with
You need
everything. Yeah,
to be
that's
on something else.
yeah. Let me see if I can do that. Make it like blue.
No, I think it's just blending. It's not gonna.
That particular. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
that particular one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't colored a lot of things recently, but oh, well, actually, recently I did draw like this one double page spread. It'll be entitled new issue. That was really fun. And the way I colored that, I used some of these brushes. Which one was it? Man, India ink. That's what it was. It was very, very thick, and it was like, I don't know, it was really cool to do like small highlights and stuff with that. So I'm still definitely learning. That's the one thing I love the most about Clip Studio Paint. There's so much that is at your fingertips that you can just constantly like go through every single brush and just like become a master of like everything. Obviously you need a lot of time, but I usually just gravitate towards the ones that I've like used for so long. So the real G pen and all that jazz. But when it comes to backgrounds, I know that a lot of people actually use there's like a lot of programs out there that help out with backgrounds, and I think that those programs are amazing, but I always feel weird using them. Like it just seems out of place with like my particular style, and it just, I don't know. And I feel like if it looks hand drawn, or if it looks semi semi inked by me, like I don't know, like it's really weird. I don't know how to actually explain it, but I don't necessarily like using those particular programs. So what I usually do is just sketch out everything by pencil at first, and I just kind of like lay out like, this is where this is going to be, this is where this is going to be, and then that way I know whenever I draw it on the page, I can actually plan out exactly where they should be, and I can detail them separately. But whenever I'm drawing them in my comic, let me see if I can actually show you. I will show you a comic that came out a few I think it was last month. This is the issue that came out last month, one that I was showing you inside of the presentation. Here it is. Okay, so let me, it's loading up. What I'm basically trying to say is when it comes to how I draw like these pages, like I usually separate everything. So I'll just focus on the characters at first, and I'll make them like look as good as I can. I detail the gloves. I make sure that the wrinkles, even though they're super cartoony, some of them don't make sense, I try to make sure that they're all there and they just look really cool. And then I go back. Let me see if I can move. Like, these are all the people I just took out. And as you can see, this background is so detailed that like, hold on. I had to zoom in and like, make sure that there were all these blades of grass, and there were all these like destruction wood and everything. And how I was able to do that, hold on, let me see if I can bring up this. Here you go. All right, so this is the blue pencil for this page. Let me turn on that. And when I went in to do the people, I would do them first, like I said earlier, and I would do the backgrounds, and then I would go in and add the speed lines. Where are you? Speed lines. I don't know where you are. Oh, there you are. I would add the speed lines. I would make sure that just it looked cool, and then I would add more tones, and it's an entire process, and it's really fun for anybody that wants to go through that process. So again, for everybody out there that wants to be a comic book artist, it's definitely rewarding for everybody that sticks with it and truly wants to make it happen. But it's very rough, and it takes a long time. So definitely don't think it's gonna happen overnight. Stick to it, try to have fun. Like, that's another giant piece of advice that I think you should definitely have. But yeah, that's my process when it comes to using pens and color and all that.
Yeah. Is there something that you've learned in the process where you're like, I've made this way too difficult in the past, and I'm glad that I have this shortcut now?
All of the time. So my brother always tells me that I like doing things the hard way, which is as I've gotten older, I've realized that that's very true. But like, it doesn't need to be that way. And one of the things that I learned was, hold on. At first, actually, I didn't know that I could color inside of Clip Studio Paint. That was a long, it took me a long time to actually realize I could make, I could, do the same things that I was doing in other programs, that I was doing inside of this program. So like, that was really fun to learn. There wasn't that feature inside of Manga Studio, which is what it was called before it became Clip Studio. But yeah, that was one thing I learned. I also learned how to make bubbles a lot easier. Speech bubbles.
Yeah.
What I was originally doing was either just drawing them, or I would create like a hold on, it's like an ellipse right here, and then I would eventually like go through this entire process
Oh,
just to
wow.
have like, yeah, I went through all of that to create a speech bubble, and all I really needed to do was go right here and do this. It's like it was that simple. So I mean, there's several things that I've learned, like just fiddling around with this program, and
Yeah.
different tutorials. Like I said, the tutorials that we had, from our book when we were making the Saturday Wars book, the gigantic crossover series. When we were making that, I was looking up a lot of tutorials just so I could like teach myself, so I would know what to say inside of different videos. So it was very, I don't know, I was very happy to learn all of that stuff, and I'm glad that Clip Studio Paint, like I said, has so much to offer. Like I don't think I'll ever learn everything in this program unless I have like an entire, like, I don't know, month of nothing to do. It would be amazing, and I would love it, but I would need a lot of time.
Yeah. Oh God, we have so many questions. More about storytelling in comic form as well. When you create a panel, how do you specifically lay it out to tell certain aspects? Like, what's your main focus when thumbnailing, or when just creating one panel? Do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, so I'll do like a small thumbnail sketch so I can show you right here, and maybe I'll thumbnail a page inside of hold on, I'll thumbnail a page from my old presentation. All right, so I'll thumbnail this page so I could show you kind of like what my process was. In my head, I see this. I see what this panel is. I see what that is. I see what that is. So when I was doing this story in particular, I would actually just draw that panel. I would, just try to like, make it thematically, like, just make it look like it was supposed to, like how it's supposed to look. So like right here, for example, like he's in the foreground and you see like this car, driving away.
Yeah.
So, I wanted it to, have this particular like look to it. So I would redraw this over and over again until it looked this way. Because at first, I think it looked something like, I don't know, like it didn't look this way.
Yeah.
So I mean, after doing several different iterations of this image, I was able to find the best composition for it. And the same thing for the next panel, and so on and so forth. And after I had all of those panels in here, I would connect them all by basically
Okay.
doing that. However, this is how I did it for this book. Whenever I do Hammer, or any other series that I am drawing, like the reason why I did that for this series is because I was going off of a script, and reading that script, and like looking at, it says this is what happens in panel 1, this person is looking at that person, and in the background this is happening. So there's so much that you got to keep in mind. So I thought that it would be the best way to just basically create thumbnails that way, and then create the page subsequently. However, when it comes to Hammer, I already have it in my head. I just go back. I want to draw a fight scene, for example. So I want to have like the panels a little bit more tilted to have the action really sell. And then I'll go in and I'll have like somebody running, and I'll draw like small speed lines, and
Yeah.
have that person from the back is running.
Yeah.
And basically it's just obviously this is not planned at all, so like it doesn't look like an actual story. But I mean, yeah, I would just like I would just draw it, and after I was done drawing it, I would I would draw it traditionally at first, actually, and then I would come back to the computer, and I would go to Clip Studio Paint. I would add everything that I would need to add. And hold on, let me. Where are you? Oh, here you are. All right, cool. So this is one thing that I can do. What I usually do for these panels, if I want them to be diagonal, I'll just draw them. But if I want, if I want the panel to actually just be square, I'll do that. And I love this feature so much because I can just draw in it and it won't like bleed to any other place. Like when I found this out, I was like, oh my God. Like this is just another thing that I've done that like it didn't need to be this difficult. So I mean, like I said, you just got to play around with this program constantly. But that's how I usually, you know, would thumbnail a picture, you know.
Yeah, very cool. I love that your thumbnailing is like super chaotic and it's like you know exactly what you're going for, but everyone else is looking at it like, what is this?
Yeah, you know, you know, I think it's amazing. You know, I'll look at other comic book artists like Aichiro Oda, for example. You know, he's the creator of One Piece, and you know, there's several different like sketches that he has inside of his book where it's just like scribbles. And as a comic book artist, I can see what he's going for, and it's amazing because I'm like, wow, like that's that's what you're doing, like that's amazing. And then like you see it in real, like completed, and it's just incredible. So like I've always been like happy, and like I've always been trying to you know, do my thumbnails as fast as possible so I can get to the pages. And I feel like um if I make everything look chaotic, then I can just go through it and zoom through it and try to get it done as fast as possible. So yeah, that's why I do that.
Okay. We have very interesting questions. Do you go about creating your story by imagining the story in pictures or words first? Like, do you imagine a scene and then figure out what the words for it are, or like do you have like a thing? Like, how does it appear in your head? Do you have like a scene, or do you have like a dialogue that comes to you?
So I usually visualize it. You know, I daydream constantly, like I said. Like it's probably because I'm bored a lot at my day job. I mean, I do my job, obviously. You know, I try to stay focused when I need to. But you know, when there's whenever there's downtime or whenever there's just something that you know I you know just want to like develop inside of my head. Like right now I'm working on a pitch for, you know, another series, and you know, I daydream about it constantly. And you know, while I daydream it, like random scenes will pop up. I'll think to myself, does that make sense? Will it make sense? Like, why should it make sense? And you know, I go through all of those questions before I move on to the next scene, and you know, so on and so forth, until you know, if it all works out and it all like seems correct inside of my head, then I'll write it down, and you know, I'll you know, go through all the channels to, you know, essentially like have it all on paper. And then I'll look at everything, try to nitpick it. I'll say, hey, this sucks. You know, this could be a lot better if I do this. This could be better if I do that. And you know, this is what I did for Hammer throughout the entire. Like I wrote the entire series of Hammer. I know how it's going to end. I know, you know, what happens in the next arc, which I'm extremely excited to draw. I know a lot of things that happen, and that's, you know, it's allowed me to be able to create foreshadowing moments inside of my series. You know, it allows me to you know, really hopefully, you know, set up the climax scene so well that, you know, you just want to put your hands up and scream, yeah. I mean, you know, with that said, I'm not a master at it yet. I think I'm getting better at it. And this next chapter, this next arc will be, you know, a very good test, I think. But I'm very excited for just getting better at this craft in general. But I'm glad that I've gotten as good as I've gotten.
Seeing that you're publishing in a magazine that is on the page, like it has the page format, like the regular A4 roughly size, or like comic book format. Do you have any limitations in terms of creating your pages? Like, do you have a specific number or a specific size that you need to go with?
So originally I was drawing my pages, you know, from Manga Studio. I remember the default was 11 by 17, if I'm not mistaken, or like
Yeah,
16.68 or something like that. And you know, I always just thought that was the norm, you know, because I had been like, I think when I first got Manga Studio, I was in 11th grade, and I first learned like how to use the program by drawing this one book that was like, I don't know, 100 something pages, and like that was like my downtime. That's what I did because I was a nerd. But I you know, I did that, and you know, it was, you know, every page was, you know, 11 by 17. I never thought anything of it. And as I got older, I realized that, you know, that those are like the big comic book size pages that you can buy in real life. And, you know, I would buy them in real life. And then I realized in real life, it's a lot more difficult to like draw on that page in a fast way. So in real life, I changed to 8.5 by 11. You know, I have like, I forgot exactly what it was, if it was A4. Unfortunately, I'm blanking on that. But I you know, I had these pages, and you know, they're amazing. But every time I draw digitally, I always keep it at 11 by 16 because I feel like if I can make it as big as possible, then I can zoom in, I can add as much detail, and you know, then whenever we have to shrink it down for, you know, the print, or you know, the magazine, or you know, whatever the case may be, then you know, I'll leave it at that. However, with that said, you know, Saturday AM has a they have a what's it called, a dimensions that they want to, you know, have inside of their magazine, and luckily they match up to the dimensions that I've been drawing at for like forever. But you know, but with that said, you know, I just keep it at 11 by 17, and you know, it's been working out.
Yeah. Do you have any page numbers that you usually go for with like a chapter or like an arc?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. When I was first doing Hammer, I was not thinking about you know, the page counts or anything. I was just kind of, you know, drawing to have fun. So the first book, which is 11 chapters, is like 300 pages. It's like, I mean, it is a lot, and like they're all irregular like chapters. Like one chapter is like 54 pages, another chapter is like 20, another chapter is like 19. Like, I mean, it's really, yeah, it was very irregular. However, you know, as I've gotten older and, you know, realized, because like when I was first drawing Hammer, I was doing it by myself. I wasn't actually with Saturday AM yet, and you know, I was with Webtoons actually, you know, just trying to post it on there, like I said earlier. And you know, I didn't really know how to like put it together to where it could come out on a regular basis, like how manga does and Shonen Jump. Like I knew that like Shonen Jump, for example, they'll have like 19 pages usually, you know, for every issue, for every chapter that they have inside there, for every series. But at the time, you know, I was just drawing to have fun, so I didn't really care about it. And then as you know, I realized being in Saturday AM, like it's there's so much going on, and there's so much stuff that you have to do. Not just draw your comic, but you know, also, you know, work on, you know, these other projects. Like for instance, like I said earlier, the Flick Solitaire, you know, we had to, you know, draw all of our characters for those cards, and you know, that took a long time. So having the ability to just draw your series and have it be a controlled, you know, page rate is a very good thing, and I highly recommend it for everybody out there that wants to have a series come out regularly. So what I do now, the last, I think this entire year so far, every single chapter of Hammer has been between 10 and 15 pages, and you know, I've liked that. I think I'm gonna stick to that for a while. I really want to, you know, keep it at 15, just because you know, I feel like I can probably, you know, add a little bit more information into every chapter. But you know, yeah, I think between 10 and 15 pages is a good page rate to have, you know, for me anyway. You know, I don't want to burn myself out either. So
yeah. So seeing that you keep working on the same series, do you ever feel like, oh, I just want to be done with this and do something else? Or
so
do you like very focused now?
the good thing is that I have not had that yet, and it's mainly because I am working on other things. You know, I have like I said, I have a pitch that I'm gonna be doing soon. I'm very excited for that, and I'm not gonna be talking about it for a very long time. But you know, it is. You know, it is definitely a story, a series that I've had in mind for a very long time, or an idea I've had in my mind for a very long time, and you know, I think that, you know, a lot of people are going to like it. So hopefully that will that will actually happen. And that's, I don't know. I mean, I always try to do other things to preoccupy myself. I don't have a hobby. My hobby is drawing, but I want to make drawing my career. So hopefully after I'm done making drawing my career, and I actually can quit my day job and just do this forever, then that's when I'll probably have a hobby. And when that happens, oh man, hold on, sorry. When that happens is when I'll probably just relax, I guess, and do other things. But as of right now, I just draw constantly. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
How many hours do you usually spend a day or a week on drawing?
That is a very good question as well. So I wake up now. I try to wake up a lot earlier. I was staying awake until. Oh man, I messed that up. Whatever, I'm talking. Anyway, I was I was staying awake until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe 4 sometimes, depending
Yeah.
on like when I had to work the next day. But I have been wanting to change my schedule for a number of reasons. Not only because I'm married, I love my wife. I want to hang out with her. I want to be
Yeah.
able to not just be in my office all the time. Like it is insane how much time goes into this. And I'm very happy that I get to do this, but it just takes a lot of time. So when it comes to what I do now is I'll stay awake until 10 at night, 10 p.m. and I'll go to sleep, and I'll wake up at 3 in the morning,
Oh.
and I'll work until I have to go to work again. Or if like for the last couple of days I've been off, so I've just been waking up at 3 and working until like 3. But I mean, it's been rewarding because I'm just trying to get done with as much work as possible, because I know once I go to work, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm going to have to do my job until I have to go home, and then I can do my other job, and or my career, I guess I should say. And
Yeah.
so it takes a lot of time. I would say throughout the entire week, if I had to give a definitive answer, it would be like, I don't know, maybe about 40, maybe a little more. I don't know. It's another full-time job. So
Yeah. I can imagine. That sounds like a very intense schedule, especially if you have a day job and it's like a total of 80 hours of essentially work. But I mean, for you just says like it's more like a hobby for you.
I mean, it's so fun. I mean, right now, unfortunately, it is still it's not paying all of my bills. It's definitely paying more than what it was when I first started. So I'm happy about that. But and also with the other deals that I have going on, and why I've been so busy, I'm finally getting into a point where I won't necessarily have to have a day job, or at least I can go down in my hours in my day job, and I can spend more time just drawing. And that's always the goal. And like I said earlier, for everybody out there that wants to be a comic book artist, I mean, this is a very difficult thing. So unless you come from money, or unless you are an amazing time management person, like this is what you got to do.
Or you don't need sleep, like some people don't need sleep.
Well, I mean, yeah, I do take time to take naps a lot.
Okay.
I took a nap earlier today. Like I said, I woke up today actually at 2, because I think I've just been really excited about this. But I woke up at 2, started getting my work done for the day, and my wife had to go to work around, I think, she woke up at 7:30, but she had to be at work at like 8. So I got back in bed around 7, just so I could snuggle with her until she went off. And then I woke up at like 10, and then I got back to work, and I've been at it ever since. So like that's you gotta take those naps. You also gotta take some time to just relax. Like I said, I have 2 dogs, so I'll take them out to walk, or we just have a backyard. We just got our fence recently, so I'll go play fetch with the dogs and all that. So you gotta definitely make time for yourself. There are a lot of horror stories out there for manga artists, and artists in general, and it's definitely a lonely medium. And if you don't take care of yourself, then it's going to weigh on you. And I felt like really, really bad earlier. Like I don't mean to bring this entire webinar down. But when I heard about the Berserk creator Kentaro Miura, I mean, that really hurt me, because I mean, I actually have only read a few of his books, but I've actually watched a lot of his stuff, and just knowing that as an artist that loves doing this, to know that like you try to take as much time as possible for yourself, and it still is it was heartbreaking. But I mean, all of that to say is you got to take time for yourself, and
Yeah.
if you don't, I mean, it's not good.
Yeah.
So definitely do that. But I unfortunately have not necessarily been completely true to doing that anyway. Like I try to take more and more time for myself, but at the same time I'm also addicted to drawing. Once I start, I can't stop, and
Yeah.
hours will pass and I'll look up and it's nighttime. So like I mean that's it's just I don't know, it's just the nature of the
Yeah.
beast. But yeah.
Yeah, but you also seem to get like a lot of energy out of drawing. So
Oh
from what you're
yes,
saying.
yes.
So I think it's always good. I think it gets difficult like once you have this hobby that becomes your work, and it becomes stressful, like your regular job does. I think that's a very difficult and dangerous thing, because you lose something that you like doing.
Yeah, you really have to, first and foremost, I mean, if you're gonna make your hobby your career, I mean, love that thing as much as possible. Because,
Yeah.
and luckily I love drawing. I mean, I never get bored with drawing. When I draw commissions and stuff, I get kind of bored, which is, I'm sorry for everybody out there that wants to get a commission from me. But I mean, when it comes to, just drawing my comic or any comic that I've created, or, get
Yeah.
a chance to work on, I mean, it is such a good feeling for me personally, not only just to know like the struggle and everything else that I've gone through just to get to this point. Like it has been insane to get to this point. But I'm really, really happy that it is finally starting to work out. So I mean, yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. We have 3 minutes left, so let's just finish off with one question. For anyone who would like to get to the point of publishing their own comic, any advice?
Yes.
That's a big topic,
So
but go ahead.
try to say this in the next 2 minutes. Got it. No. What you need to do is you need to just do it. This is the best time in human history to put out your stuff. There are there's webtoons, there's Septastic, there's several different contests around the world that you can enter into. I know Shonen Jump has been doing a lot of stuff. Saturday AM just got done with our big contest. In March we have March Art Madness. That's a great way to get our attention if you want to apply in there and like participate. There's also Summer of Manga that is currently about to start up soon. We just got done picking everybody that's going to be inside of those particular issues. So I mean, when it comes to drawing comics, you just got to do it, and you just got to get it out there. Don't give up. There's several people that just like get discouraged, and like I get it, I understand, don't get me wrong. I mean I get discouraged from time to time. I know I sound very, very happy, and right now today has been a great day, so yes, I am very happy. However, it's like there are definitely times when I'm not that happy, and it's because just like life in general. So I mean you got to be able to go through all of that and still produce a comic book, and still know that like it's really, really fun for you. And if you do decide to do that and it's not fun for you, then that's when this isn't for me. Like I probably shouldn't do this anymore. This isn't something that I want to spend more of my time on. However, you can still be a fan of comics. There's we need fans. Somebody needs to read the content. And then on top of that, there are several different jobs around comics that you can be in if you still want to be a part of the process but don't want to draw comic books. So but like I said, if you want to draw comic books, it's just about doing it, getting, having the mindset of saying, I don't care, what's in front of me. I'm going to make this happen, make a schedule, actually try as hard as you can on, making like the visual storytelling work. You know, if you create a pitch, then that could help out very, very well. That could, you know, really make all of your ideas, you know, come together. Hold on, I'm trying to find this one thing, and that way it'll help you a lot better. Definitely go check out my TikTok. It'll have all these, you know, tips that can hopefully help you create a comic. And if you really want to learn a lot more about, you know, just all of the tips that I have in regards to creating comics, then definitely go check out this free PDF. It has 4 easy steps that, you know, will help you start your new comic. And yeah, you know, there you go.
Yeah,
So
I
hopefully
think
that
that's the perfect ending to all of this.
Nice.
Thank you so much for having a chat and answering the questions and showing us your process as well. I think you got a new artwork now, just on the
Yes.
side.
Yes.
You
It came out pretty
even
good.
finished it. That's great. That's great.
Yeah. I don't know what else to add. Maybe his logo. I might do that later. So
All right. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you so much, Joanna. The conversation has been incredible. I'm pretty sure everybody enjoyed this talk and also all the tips that Jay shared with us. And before we go, let me just share one last bit of information. For more information about Clip Studio Paint and learn more, visit our website clipstudio.net/n and also graphicsly.com. As we mentioned earlier before, this webinar is being recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, Clip Studio Paint channel, and also Graphicsly channel. For more information about Jay, visit his social media, JeyOdin, on Instagram, Twitter, his website, and his TikTok. Also, take a look at Saturday AM social media as Saturday and their website, saturday-am.com. And with that, thank you so much, Jay. Thank you, Joanna. And thank you all who joined us today and who are still with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. This was very, very
Thanks,
fun.
guys. Yes, and so we hope to see you in our next event. So stay tuned to our social media, Graphicsly. So thanks again. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jesus.